So, good morning, friends, from sunny capital of Moldova, Kishinev. I just came out of my hostel and it is very nice weather today, 22 degrees and sunshine. So, the plan for today is that I will not be doing a lot of walking, since I was doing too much of walking yesterday and day before yesterday in Odessa and in Kiev, and I was very late, arriving late yesterday, and I don't want to put too much pressure on my feet, how to say it, my ankle, but I will do some interesting thing if it will be possible. We'll see. I saw in the Google map yesterday evening, oh no, was it today morning? I saw in the Google map that there is such a thing as a trolleybus excursion or trolleybus sightseeing tour of Kishinev. And trolleybuses are nice things in any way, but this is even a bit more unusual, that there is sightseeing tour of a capital which is done by trolleybus, and it is only on Saturdays and Sundays, and today turns out to be Sunday, and they depart every 2 hours, and each hour there's a different language spoken in the loudspeakers in the trolleybus, and 2 o'clock one is in English. So, well, this is nice. So I'm going there now to see if it is true, because you never know. It was written, but it doesn't mean it will happen. So we'll go and see. Maybe it works, maybe it's possible, and in that case it would be a good start, good first glimpse of the city, and then I could decide which places I would like to explore more. So I'll keep you posted how things go and if it works out or not. Yes, there was indeed a trolleybus, and it really works. It seems to be on time even, and it's there, and we'll take a tour. And I asked the driver how much it costs. It is 30 lei, which is something like €1.42 or €1.40 or something of that sort. And even if it's not completely free, I think it is well justified in my case. It is a cheap country, and I will save in every area while being here. So I'm not under big pressure. It will give me a good overview of the city and what's going on here. So I'm looking forward to it. And that's the trolleybus from outside, but that's a regular one. This is touristic.
What kind of story does Kishinev tell today? What did Kishinev look like in the past? We will invite you to go back in time and be distracted from everyday worries. What do you say? Let's start the adventure. The first destination follows. In the 15th century, the statue was cast in Bucharest in the early 20th century at the cost of 4 million lei. It was intended to replace the Russian Emperor Alexander II's monument, which was demolished in 1918 by the Romanian authorities, depicting Roman she-wolves suckling twin infants Romulus and Remus. Twin hearts that hit in unison, Doina and Ion Alter Teodorovich. In 1981, when music united people, Ion and Doina united their fates. The Teodorovich spouses faced the unification of the Republic of Moldova with Romania as a leader. They strove for the return of the Romanian language and Latin as a script, a goal achievable on the 31st of August 1989. Part of the way, placed a few meters from the road, you will see a red marble stone that is a symbol of the originating place of the city of Kishinev. The location of the stone is not accidental. It is from this area that the city started being as Chisinau and later growing on the surrounding hills. During the 19th century, the city developed rapidly, but the 20th century showed to be difficult for the whole country, including Kishinev. During this time, political regimes failed, which were followed by many changes in the name of streets, parks, monuments, population, and ethnic composition. After the Second World War, the city was destroyed by 70%, followed by extensive reconstruction and redevelopment. The quarters of the old city were demolished for the construction of wide roads and high-rise buildings. This led to the fact that the city expanded and absorbed the surrounding villages, which became new areas for the city. Today, we see in Kishinev a variety of mosaic of times. It seems to be like a journey through time. In the center of the city, there are parts of old Kishinev with winding streets, rectangular houses designed in Tsarist times, among which you can see villas in the neo-Romanian style or stately Soviet modernist buildings. A new project funded by the European Union gives us hope that the Kishinev Circus will be renovated and will host a wide range of cultural events. Pedestrian Street opened in 2015 and bears the name of the master and composer Eugen Doga, named as the artist of the people and man of the millennium. Eugen Doga was born on the 1st of March 1937. The great composer is a member of the 200 personalities of the world. Additionally, he is the author of hundreds of classical compositions. By the way, when was the last time you waltzed? Remember what was it like? Remember what it was like? the city near all the major attractions. Today it hosts the public library B.P. Hashdel, the Swiss guest house, and other private apartments. Its construction began in 1835 by Ivan and Anastasia Monastirsky. The history of the National Theatre of Opera and Ballet of the Republic of Moldova started in 1955, when a new troupe was formed at the Moldavian Music and Drama Theatre. In 1980, the Opera and Ballet Theatre moved into a new, purpose-built facility on Stefan Mare Boulevard, where A. Gorshkov and M. Kurenoy designed the building. The facade and the interior were decorated with sculptures by B. Novikov, B. Dubrovin, G. Dubrovin, and M. Sajin. The glass-clad building was erected in 1984 and was fully constructed by 1987. Yuri Tumanyan and Arkady Saltman built the building, and Viktor Ivorsky designed the style of the building. It is high-tech and has elements with symbolic functions. The symbolism is represented through art and innovation. The building was built on the site of the German Lutheran Church, dating back to the 1830s. It was made to be the new building of the Supreme Soviet of the Moldovan Soviet Republic. The Moldovan Declaration of Independence of the 27th of August 1991 was signed and adopted in the palace by the Supreme Soviet. After Moldova gained its independence, the building became the residence of the Moldova's president, starting from 2001. The presidency building represents the residence of the elected head of state, elected by the citizens of the Republic, based on universal, equal and direct electoral law under free and secret ballot for 4 years. The President of the Republic of Moldova, in his or her position as the head of the state, represents the state and is the guarantor of the national sovereignty and independence of the unity and territorial integrity of the state. Stefan the Great Boulevard is located between Libertatea Square and Dumitru Cantemir Square. It has a length of 3.8 kilometers. It is the most critical urban highway, the central axis of Kishinev, along which the most important objectives have been located over the time. The Great National Assembly Square is also crossed by Stefan the Great Boulevard. In 1812, it became a permanent center for government business. It had the same type of urban planning done in the Russian Empire. During different periods, it was called by other names. So, at the beginning of the 19th century, it was called Millionnaire Street. From the 1840s until 1877, it was called Moskovskaya Street, then Alexandrovskaya Street, 1877 to 1924, Alexander the Kind Boulevard, 1924-1944. In 1931, the boulevard was divided into two, from Libertatea Square, the southern end of the street, to Armenaska Street. It kept the name Alexander Cholbun, and from Armenaska Street to the end, where the military hospital was located, it's called Boulevard Carol II. Between 1944 and 1952, the street was named in honor of Vladimir Lenin. During the Soviet Moldovan era, parades were held in honor of the Great October Socialist Revolution, May Day and Victory Day. It has been declared a boulevard of Saint Stephen the Great since 1989, the same year of the adoption of the Romanian language as a state language. With a trick of the author, architect Vladimir Tiganko, done to distinguish the holy place from the other buildings along the street. The church was built in 1901 as a hospital chapel, Zemstvo, in the vicinity. Inaugurated in 1896, the hospital was built after the project and under the direction of Toma Chorba. For those times, this was one of the best infectious disease hospitals, the first specialized medical institution in Bessarabia. Toma Chorba ran the hospital for 30 years and also worked as an ordinary man, bacteriologist, proselytizer, educator of young medical workers. Today, the hospital continues its activity and proudly bears his name. Today, the Hospital of Infectious Diseases is located practically in the center of the city. but during its construction it was the northwestern edge of the city. Today's street Mihai Viteazu can be considered the boundary of the historical city of Chisinau. When the city expanded, the former suburbs of Chisinau, the villages of Buiucai, Voviteni, Isteniceni, were incorporated into the city, and in the 1950s and 1960s new neighborhoods were formed that we know today as Buiucai, Botanica, Ciocana, and Râșcani. These districts differ from the historical part of Chisinau because they were designed in the modernist progressive style. Wide streets with many lanes for transport, sidewalks and shady alleys for pedestrians, multi-storied blocks to accommodate the population of Chisinau that was constantly growing. And today 685,000 people live officially in the city, and in the whole Chisinau more than 800,000 people. The citizens of Chisinau are hospitable, smiling, cheerful, and love traditions and parties. How about we dance a fora here? This public holiday is always celebrated on August the 27th. In Romania, it is called Ziua Independenței. This is Moldovan's national day. Spread across 17 acres of land, the park is located in the very center of Chisinau, sited by the government building to the east and the House of Parliament to the west, bounded by Stefan Mare Boulevard and the 31st of August Street. The park was established in 1818 by the Russian Army Engineer Corps and later was remodeled into its present shape by Alexander Bernardazzi. One such site to behold is the Water Tower, located on Bănulescu Bodoni Street, near the Moldova State University campus. This historical and architectural landmark was built at the end of the 19th century by Alexander Bernardazzi and formed an essential part of the local water supply system. The purely practical designation of the building did not dampen the creativity that went into its design. In Kishinev, Pushkin also wrote some of his most beautiful poems: The Dagger, Prisoner of the Caucasians, Outlaw Brothers, Fountain of Bakhchisarai, and began the masterpiece Evgeny Onegin. And now, on our way to the next destination, we have prepared for hearing some of the most valuable pieces of our popular music. Lautari and Master Nicolae Sulak, Legend of the Moldovan Folklore. In the 19th century, but more precisely at the end of it, when the mayor of the city was Karl Schmidt. He took the initiative to build the new headquarters for the city Duma on the place occupied by the fire department. The city was entrusted to Mitrofan Elati, then the architect of the city. Alexandru Bernardazzi was invited to help him. The architecture of the building is an eclectic spirit based on the architecture of the Italian Renaissance. This building has an elegant facade with arched windows. The walls, draped in a faint shade of beige and white, complement a sleek clock tower at the top. The building suffered terrible damage during the Second World War and required a considerable effort to be returned to its former glory.
So that was it. That was a tourist trolleybus tour of Kishinev. That's the first time in life I see something like this. And I think it's quite interesting that they made such an idea into reality. They have quite a lot of trolleybus lines in Kishinev. So that's the one I just took. And the trolleybus lines obviously are enough for them to compile a touristic route so that they can explain and show things of their city. Nice! What do you think about it? Would you take such a tour?